Welcome to The Burning of the Midnight Lamp, where we are dissecting music history, album by album, track by track. Today we are listening in on Girl Loves Me by David Bowie. It's the fifth track from his album Black Star from 2016. Please remember to like and subscribe if you like to hear other analyses from this album, and later as well albums and other songs from other artists. If you would like to hear the full analysis of this album along with the other songs from this album, then please subscribe to our podcast. And if you, on top of that, want to hear the full podcast and also listen along with us to all the songs from this album, then please support us on Patreon. Links and descriptions below. My name is Frode.
My name is Trond.
And my name is Chris.
And here we go. So then we have come to the fifth track on Black Star, Girl Loves Me, a song written by David Bowie. And I don't know, should we just start with listening to the song?
Let's jump into it.
Here we go.
Gina so sound so titty up, this mouth check say. Party up, moods, 90 fella set round on Tuesday. Real bad dizzy snatch, making all the homies mad. Thursday. Pop a blind to the poly in the hole by Friday. When the fuck did Monday go? I'm cold to this pig and pot show. I'm sitting in the chestnut tree. Who the fuck's gonna mess with me?
Yeah. So, what do you think of the lyrics, Ton?
Well, I guess there is some kind of intricate things in these lyrics that I haven't really caught on to.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
In this song, Bowie incorporates Polari and Nadsat, which are two, well, at least one of them is fictional languages or dialects, so to speak. Nadsat is the fictional language that is used in A Clockwork Orange, the novel by Anthony Burgess. It's kind of based out of Russian words, I think. Where words like malchik, devochka, which is boy and girl in Russian, for example. The other slang or language, or what you can call it, is Polari, which was used by various communities from early 1900s, but it came into British mainstream in the 1960s, and the TV comedy series called Round the Horn, and it was used by the gay subculture in the 1960s, which I would, or where people assume that that's where Bowie picked it up from.
Especially in show business, in circus, that's where it came from, but mostly in the gay part of it. And Bowie has used both of these languages before, like Polaris in Bewley Brothers and some other of his early songs. And Nadsat is, it's mentioned in Suffragette City, Hey Droogie, Don't Crash Here. And he's also a big fan of Clockwork Orange in the his Ziggy Stardust era, where he has stage uniforms and so on that are inspired by the aesthetics of the Stanley Kubrick movie of A Clockwork Orange.
So there is kind of a link between the glam period of Bowie, certainly not musically, but and not really lyrically either, but with these associations to A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I heard it or read it. It might be Lea Cardos. It might be an interview with McCaslin. Come to think of it, maybe it was Aslan Mohammed's excellent album-to-album podcast. But I think the sense was that instead of doing a rap in this song, which maybe someone suggested, Bowie was not comfortable with doing that because it's not his. When using Nadsat and Polari, that would be like his youth when he was young. And that's this type of slang that. So it would fit him to have a spoken word / rap in that language, while it would not fit with having a rap like.
But he almost
rap music
goes.
today.
He almost goes into it in this, what you could call the bridge, or that is more like a multi-voiced thing that he does, where he almost raps over himself.
Yes.
So I guess that's the part that was meant to be more thought of as a rap.
It's possible. It's only Mickey Rourke who made a rap on the Bowie album.
Mickey Rourke.
Tough guy.
So, you said double-tracked vocals. There are a lot of vocals here.
There's lots of vocals.
Double-tracked, triple-tracked, quadruple-tracked. I don't know what it is, but he seems to be intertwining, yes, and especially when you listen to this on headphones, they are all over the place, and so are the instruments. So it's a very spatial mix.
Yeah, and to me that part is the most interesting of the whole song. This is probably the only song that I'm just bored. The song could just stop for me after the bridge, because there's like nothing new being introduced. It just goes on,
There's a small sort of breakdown bridge in the middle which actually is the part I like the most. I mean, it's not, to me as well, it's not a great song. It's an okay song, but I would say it maybe a low point on the album for me. But I do like that little break after it's finished with the verses, and there's a nice build up before we come back into the main groove of the song again.
Yeah, I think I would disagree, as I think that little bridge, I think there's two of them, those are the parts that I do not enjoy that much, but the rest of the song I do enjoy. So I think this is a good song. What I like about it is this sort of mechanical, slow, just not droning, but it's like a drum machine, but of course it's a combination of drum machine with live drumming, or so it sounds. But it just slugs on like a slug at a slow pace, and he has this call and response in this part that I think is wonderful. It's call and response, and there's call and there's no response. It's just some strings or a synthesizer that yeah, I think it's a great punch when that part comes in.
I guess we can also mention for us that knows Chris that he has a bit higher level of tolerance for these type of songs than most people.
Yeah, well, this reminds me of a Bowie B-side that I think it should have been on ours, called "No One Calls." So yes, I have a high
Definitely
tolerance.
a resemblance. I also
Yeah.
I also feel when I hear this song, and that is also a song that I maybe not among my favorite Bowie songs as well. So I guess we have different tastes there at least.
And if we should go a little bit back before that, the previous album, Earthling, there's an EP he made with Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails, where he remixed I'm Afraid of Americans, not only in one, but in 5 different mixes. And you have the single version that we all have heard, but if we continue, you have a hip hop version with Ice Cube, and you have like this droning ambient slug version, and you also have this sort of never-ending industrial dub that just goes and goes on for 11-12 minutes. And this is in the same area, I would say.
The perfect song for you.
Oh, never-ending industrial dub. That sounds promising.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, if we go slightly back to the lyrics as well, I mean, when you hear the song, the lyrics doesn't sound as weird as when you read it. Reading the lyrics is like, I have no idea what this is about, but it's kind of make more sense when you actually hear it sung. So it seems to be about someone a little bit on the edge. There's a part talking about parties and drugs and the police turning up, and
Where the fuck did Monday go? That's not happy sentiment.
It certainly isn't. So the song was Bowie also made a full demo of this song before the Black Star recording. Johnny McCaslin has recalled that the demo had flutes instead of strings for the song, which is quite interesting. And Bowie had used 2 overlapping drum parts for the song, or for the demo. And drummer Juliana, he couldn't play both simultaneously, but he tried to sort of capture the essence of the two loops. So it would have been interesting to hear that demo. Maybe we will at some stage. The backing track was recorded, as the other songs on this album was, at the Magic Shop studio in New York City. that happened on 3rd February 2015. The bass guitarist on the album, Tim Lefavre, he also plays guitar on this song in addition to bass. And he was borrowing Bowie's guitar and used a lot of effects. Bowie did sing the song live with the musicians, but again, as with many of the other songs on the album, he re-recorded them later at Human Studios in April and May that same year. An additional musician that also was involved on this track particularly was James Murphy from LCD Sound System. So he played percussions and added synth treatments to the song. Maybe a little bit similar to what Brian Eno did for Bowie back in the days. And according to Donny McCaslin, Murphy did some significant alterations to the song in his studio.
Well, Bowie and Murphy, they had met before when Bowie, it was around the next day.
2013.
2013, yeah. That Murphy was producing Arcade Fire's Reflector album. And Bowie had played with Arcade Fire before in the early 2000s on a TV performance. And he, for some reason, I don't know why, was in the studio and he heard the song Reflector and he thought it was very good and said something along the lines of, you should finish up and mix it now or I will steal it. So they ended up giving him 3 or 4 lines that he recited in the song, and he's not credited except, I think, thank you to Mr. B or something like that. In the title track.
Yeah, and then the song was released, of course. It actually received quite positive feedback from the music press. Rolling Stones even referring to it as a standout moment. So they may be a bit more on Chris's side than this.
Well, the Rolling Stone was always on the wrong side when it comes to critical perception. But.
And it actually managed to go in on some charts. It reached or peaked at number 87 on the Dutch Top 100 and 146 on the UK singles chart.
The Dutch.
That's impressive, I guess.
Actually, I think most of the tracks on the album probably streamed a lot, especially in the time after Bowie's untimely death. So managed to go in on several of the charts.
Maybe it was someone trying to understand the lyrics and just heard it again and again and again
maybe.
and again.
What the hell is he singing about?
Yes,
Well,
you can find some translations online if you look long and hard enough, but it didn't give that much more information, I would say. It's still a mystery.
Well, I have the translation there. It kind of makes more sense, of course. But it is, like I said before, it is people living on the edge, having a great time, being in touch with the police and so on. It's kind of maybe sounds a little bit Clockwork Orange-ish in a way. Maybe not so much with the violence that is in that movie, but or novel. But I sort of get the sense that it could have fitted well into that environment in a way. So you do have some, as we talked about, some references back to his glam rock days. And there's also a line in the song, I'm sitting in a chestnut tree. It has been suggested that it is a reference to George Orwell's 1984 novel, which of course David Bowie once planned to write a musical for, which didn't end up becoming a musical, but he used some of the music on the Diamond Dogs album, where you of course also have the track 1984. The line in the novel is referring to someone singing, "Under the spreading chestnut tree, I sold you and you sold me," which again is a line from a song called The Chestnut Tree by Glenn Miller from 1939. So, so that's yet another sort of link back to back to his glam rock days. But you also have another
Yes,
possible.
Chris O'Leary's wonderful book, Ashes to Ashes. Cannot recommend it enough. He also found another literary reference, because Bowie has a tendency to put a lot of literary references. Well, it was a writer called Janko Svetkov. Apology for the pronunciation. He suggested to Chris O'Leary that Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude also has a scene where a character is trapped in a perpetual Monday. Where the fuck did Monday go? And his family gets frustrated, and then he starts to destroy the house, and they held him down, and then they drag him away, and it has the quote, to the chestnut tree in the courtyard, where they left him tied up, barking in the strange language. So, not sure if that is something that was on Bowie's mind as well, but
it certainly fits into the scheme of the song. It does.
Well, Bowie speaks in a strange language about Monday and a chestnut tree, but could be a coincidence, of course, or maybe he's thinking of all these references together. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, could also be the unconscious mind of Bowie that works in mysterious ways. So
Certainly can. And with that, I think we end it there for this song. Thank you to everyone who was watching us and watched along with us for this song. And please remember to like and subscribe if you want to hear other songs, other analyses of other songs from this album. And with that, we say goodbye.
Goodbye.
see you next time.